Once again, I have a pleasure to introduce Mr. Rahul Dev from Datwyler, India. Mr. Rahul Dev started his career in 1991. He was working with his father at top syringe manufacturing company in Mumbai, India, a joint venture with top Japan. In 2003, he joined Kaisha Manufacturing Private Limited, now Scott Kaisha, a joint venture between Scott Germany and Kaisha India as Vice President, prefillable syringes and cartridges, and was instrumental in setting up India's first and only sterile prefill syringe system plant. He also worked to introduce the concept of sterile ready-to-use fill, vials and cartridges to Indian pharma companies. He was also one of the 3 members chosen as global specialists for Scott Pharmaceutical Systems worldwide for sterile prefill syringe systems. Since 2011, he has been with Datwyler in Sealing Solutions. He joined it as site director, responsible for setup and operations of new plant in MIDC, SEZ Satara. After successfully setting up and commissioning the India operations, he is now responsible for Datwyler India as Vice President India. Mr. Rahul also serves as an independent director on board of SGD Pharma India, and he is my good friend since I am associated with Datwyler as a consultant. So I present all of you Mr. Rahul Dev and request him to take over. Thank you, Mr. Rahul.
Thank you. Can you hear me clearly? Yes. Good afternoon. I have my colleague with me, Amit, over here to help me in the difficult parts. I usually do the easier ones. And Amit and my colleagues over here will help out with the more difficult and technical challenges that is there in this presentation. So briefly, I will introduce you to Datwyler, what we are globally and what we are doing here in India. And second, what we would like to spend more time on is the journey going into DPS. We call it the Datwyler Production System. So we are a Swiss group. We are a 100-year-old company. We are 1.3 billion USD globally. We have over 8,000 employees. We have 2 divisions, Sealing Solutions and Technical Components. Over 100 countries we supply into, and we have over 50 operating companies, not plants, companies. So we have, in the Sealing Solutions, we have 3 different verticals. One is healthcare, which is into prefill syringe cartridges, drug delivery, medical devices, elastomeric closures, and aluminum seals. We manufacture the rubber stoppers that you see on vials, and you see the rubber plungers in syringes. So we manufacture those components, the rubber needle shield on top of a syringe. So those are the things. We are number 2 in the world for rubber components for healthcare industry. For automotive, we are into brake systems, fuel tank, CNG, exhaust, gas treatment, powertrains, etc. And in general industry, we are into consumer goods. And if you are traveling to Europe and slowly, I think it's coming into India, we supply the capsules for the Nespresso machine. We do the sealing for the Nespresso machine. We are also into civil engineering. We do the sealing for tunneling technologies. We do the Delhi metro tunnels. The sealing is done by Datwyler. We have a few other projects in India. And we are into oil and gas, power tools, machine and processes. But in India, we are specifically into healthcare. We have another division, which is technical components. We are trying to catch up with Amazon, but we are very far away. We are into maintenance and repair operations, automation, electronic design engineers, and home and consumer electronics. These are our plants globally. We have 1 plant in India, and India is now the largest plant for Datwyler in the healthcare industry. So for us, what is very important, and also what is very important for us to go through the Datwyler production system to install it, is we have our core values. We are entrepreneurs. We like to excel in what we do. We are very customer focused, and we value our customers. And above all is respect for others, internally and externally. So why did we think of that we needed some system in place? When we started talking in 2014-15, when we started talking at the board level, the board members together with the executive team decided that since we are growing so much globally and so many different cultures, so many different ways of work, so many different industries, what do we do? How can we have sustained for 100 years, how can we sustain and grow further? What do we need? What do we need to do? So it came down top down that we need to install a production system. But the downside of it was when we started discussing it and started researching it, we found that 80% of people who start production system companies, it fails. It's very difficult, very expensive, very time consuming. So we spent from 2015 to 2017 developing a production system specifically for our industry, because we went out and we went to ABB, we went to Barco, we went to very different organizations to see where the production system is working very efficiently and in a proper way to learn from them. But what we learned from them was they were all assembly plants. They were not hardcore manufacturing. All the components used to come from different sites. It was put into a station and it was supplied in. So how do we change this to our hardcore operation where we take raw materials, where we have 15 different types of powder, chemicals, silicon, oils, and then it's not very clean operation. So how do we do this? So somehow with the internal team and an external consultant is, I have to take his name, it's a little difficult to pronounce, it's Bjorn Netlin. He was one of the persons, he's a guru in production system, and he was one of the team members with Volvo. So it all started with the Volvo game. So when I entered the premises, I saw the Volvo car. Hopefully 6 to 10 years from now, I will own one. So that's how we started. We started designing the whole thing towards our needs, towards our processes. So then it was, the ultimate result was, in 2017, we came up with Datwyler production system, which were, together with Kaizen Institute, we decided to roll it out to all our sites at one time at different levels. Also, what led us to trying to bring in a system is we had three strategies in place. One was we had to drive profitable growth, accelerate digitalization, and increase agility, because the ongoing word right now is VUCA. It's a VUCA world, so we need to, how do we find calm in this VUCA world? So globally, I think it means we need this calm, but in India, we are always in a VUCA world. It's always chaos. So the plant is more calm than what is going on outside. So I think the deployment in India was much better and accepted much faster. So we really had to see how we can empower everyone at every level. So I'll share a short video of the agility at Datwyler, what we discussed, and why do we need to implement a production system and change, and what kind of leadership we need.
We have set 3 strategic priorities at Datwyler: drive profitable growth, accelerate digitalization, and yes, become more agile. So let's talk about agility for a moment. As you know, our world has become highly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Yes, VUCA stops at nothing, and even Datwyler's industries and markets are in constant motion. We have to become more agile. Only then will we be able to live up to our bold ambition for 2022. Be a respected partner in all our industries. Does this mean that we have to work harder, faster, and do even more in a shorter time? Not really. Agility is about developing our organizational talents to easily interact with customers and adapt to their shifting needs. focus on the right things, and invest our resources effectively, create a space where people can reveal their creativity and full potential. So how does this work? Datwyler must become a learning, or even better, a self-learning organization by embracing 5 principles. 1. Solve problems collaboratively and across organizational boundaries. 2. Foster a culture of feedback and openness. 3. Focus on fast progress instead of striving for perfection. 4. Reduce hierarchy levels and empower teams and people. And 5. Share findings and make knowledge easily accessible. Sounds simple, right? Okay, fair enough. We can't just flip the switch from a classic to an agile organization. We do not want to turn our organization upside down. However, we need to start building on this talent. Right now, we will start by shifting our leadership culture. Leadership needs to be more focused on asking questions and coaching rather than giving answers and directing. We need leaders who encourage initiative and innovation and who perceive failure as a great opportunity to learn. But most importantly, our move towards an agile learning organization requires a culture where people take center stage. A culture that encourages each and every one of us to grow and become the best versions of ourselves. Our corporate values will guide us on this journey. Increasing agility means we can bring these values to life in a new, fast-moving environment. Okay? This is how we will continue to excel and create great value for our customers, the world, and our talents. So, let us shape the future together.
So this is why we needed to change, and this is why we needed to have a system of operational excellence. So what we did was, even for this design, we had to do a lot of discussion, understanding. So we put our values around the circle, to bring value to our customers, excel what we do, to have respect for others. And then we have the fundamentals of continuous improvement. And then we have the design for the flow, the design for future. And then in the center of it, around the operational excellence, it was people, safety, quality, delivery, cost, and environment. These were the 6 dimensions which were important for the organization. I will skip this. So these are describing the different fundamental elements that and why they're important to us. You can meet Amit later on if you want more in detail. We all had to come up with slogans. Why, in 2015, why do we want production system? But this is from Dr. Google, so you can read later. This was the deployment phase of DPS. It was very well planned. The global DPS team, which was put into place, we decided how to schedule the deployment of different plants. So before the deployment, we actually had we had a rating system. We had the global sorry?
Cultural survey.
Survey. So we had our global DPS team coming down, auditing all the different plants, ranking where we are, not plant-wise, but internally where we are in the DPS system, and what we needed to do and how ready we are for the basics. So it was rolled out, different plants at different plants at different time of the year. We launched our DPS program in 2017, November. We had a town hall meeting. That time we were about 200, 250, 300 people. Today we are at about close to 500. The main part of DPS was that we wanted participation at all levels. We wanted everyone to be participating and being heard. So the DPS basic, what does it consist of? We decided that the tools that we would use is shop floor management, and in that the basic tools would be visual management, 5S, leaders, standard work instructions, point of views, and 1-point lessons. And it took us a long time to get there. We are in 2018, so 2019, 2017 onwards, there was a lot of effort put into this, and the people who thought that it's going to be very tough was me. I was the one who thought that this is going to be extra work, but the people, the managers, the people down the shop floor, they really accepted this very well because they found this something which is new and they were being heard. So it was a very positive feedback that we got. So we had 5 different levels of shop floor management tire meetings. In the Tier 1 meetings, we had every morning we have Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 meetings. Tier 4 meetings, we have it once a week, and Tier 5, we have it once a month. So the Tier 1 meeting is the shop floor, whatever, every morning at 15 minutes before the shift starts, they discuss what are the problems, put on the board, short-term solutions, long-term solutions. If something is not solved, it goes on to the Tier 2 meeting, where the lead department leader is over there, discusses. From there, if something is left over, it comes into the Tier 3, and at Tier 4, then we decide if what investment it requires, or if it requires a long-term solve, is it important, we prioritize it. And in Tier 5, it's basically reporting into our CEO and the executive committee, and where the investment is huge or something which is necessary to be reported, we do it over here, and then get a feedback or get a suggestion or a decision. So we started with small pilots because we wanted to have a quick win. Today in the world of Amazon and Flipkart and everything, you want everything quickly. So if we don't see the benefits of it quickly, it's not going to go very well with the team. So we decided to take on one small department. We had the targets, what we wanted to do, and we wanted people to see the results quickly. And that was also deployed very well by the team. This was a very difficult part of discussion. How do we do the key performance indicators cascading into the different tires, different departments, and how do we attach it with our global requirements? So a lot of discussions, a lot of brainstorming, but ultimately with the help of the DPS guidelines, we were able to do this in a very nice way. So all our KPIs for each department at each level is put up on the boards in every department. And the meetings are very close to those KPI boards with the SFM boards. The main training was with the site management training, because they were the ones who we had to buy into, because we always feel we are overworked and we have shortage of time. So, and especially it's a growing plant that we have. We have been expanding since 2011. Every year we have still not completed. So always there is a lot to do, lot many projects going on. So how do we get time from our managers to give importance to this thing, to give importance to DPS? So we had a lot of off-site trainings, once, twice, I think 3 times we have had it. And every time we discuss what is good, what is bad, what could have been better, and then we move on to the next one. And that's how we are continuing to bring the management more comfortable with it, and also the people down the level feel more comfortable with it. So training at shop floor level, Mr. Arvind Kulkarni is very, very involved with us. As he said, he's a friend, but we don't look at him as a consultant. We find him part of the team. His support has been really immense to get through to the people, because you need someone who's already gone through it. When it comes from an outside, it is accepted much better than when you drill it down every day on your own. So this is our shop floor meeting boards, where we have the 6 dimensions, and then we have the short term. So every day we have the meetings over here. The karaoke speakers you see is because of the machine noises that we have. So we have speakers wherever the noise levels are much higher. And we have, this is updated by the shop floor team. The SFM 1s are done by the shop floor team, then the SFM 2s with the lead, but it's always the people at the shop floor level who are dealing with the boards up to SFM 3. We've also indicated where the person stands with the department. So the person from maintenance has a position, person from utility, person from production. So we know who's missing immediately. So it's very visual. I'll give Amit the difficult part.
So once the shop floor management was installed, then we focused on the other tools, the basic tools like leader standard work, factory work, visual management, point of views, and 5S. So first part was the leader standard work. It was up to the ship supervisor layer level. We call it as a team leader, and then positions above like the team leader, group leader, and department heads. And the main purpose of this was taking out, actually yesterday also in lot of presentation we saw these two slides spending or the standard works to help them or to guide them to have the dedicated time for problem solving. And then with this leader standard work, we insist them that the leaders follow this standard work and they spend dedicated time on the problem solving and innovation and not daily firefighting. And it is helping and a lot on the shop floor with all the department heads. Factory walks, also factory walks in the different levels, starting from the team leader, then group leader who is actually assistant manager, and then managers. And also then we have factory walk for the entire site management team once in a week. And all the factory walks, those are guided with the route to follow and then a standard checklist to follow. And this factory walks helps to identify the deviations or problems on the routine basis, and then it helps to improve further. The visual management, we have a lot of visual management done on the floor. Now the various planning boards, the preventive maintenance planning boards, and also 5S is part of visual management. And the slide itself explains better why we need a visual management, because 83% we see and then we observe and we learn. And that helps with the visual management. These are just example. The overall we have total 13 different boards on the shop floors, and also other than that various ideas coming from the shop floor teams for this visual management to help their daily work management, making easier and more comfortable.
So I would like to say a little bit. These visual management boards came up from the shop floor people. It was not by the managers, the team lead, because there used to be a lot of emails going between departments. This mold is down. There was a mix-up. So in between every department, one of our colleagues came up and so shop floor colleagues came up and said that why don't we have it visual? And this is the result done by them. So this is what they have done. And every department has that for preventive maintenance, for mold change, for what is in production, which lot has to go in. So it's all visual. They don't ask anyone anything. And there is no more any argument between my managers anymore.
Yes. The point of use is also one of the tools that helped, and ideas coming through the shop floor team when we started with SFM. Actually, having all the consumables near to the workstations. So these are just two examples, but there are many examples like this in our plant. The idea coming here is the idea was coming from the shop floor team, but mainly the team working together. Like idea came to the department head production, and then it goes to our tool room guys, and they actually helped us to put it into the reality. So it is a combination of all the teams working together to make the floor improve.
So also celebration and celebrating success is a very big part of it. I think this we don't give so much of importance to, but we do this very often. It doesn't cost much. It doesn't have to be very lavish, but we do this. We try to do this, and this helps in team building and encouraging people to go to the next level. So just a few photographs of our different deployment throughout our site is we have the SFM boards in our shop floor. Then how does it work? What I explained to you, Tier 3 is daily coordination, planning meeting between department heads. Tier 4, we do it, review with the site management. And Tier 5, we do it with our global management team. 5S campaign, I think you should speak a little bit about it.
After establishing all these basic tools, then we focused on the 5S because once we have all the basic, then 5S is to improve further. And before we launched the 5S campaign, we did a lot of basic preparation, like how we want to work in different departments. So we divided all the different departments into the different zones. We formed the teams. All the teams was without any management team involved. So the team leader was on the shop floor. They was given the lead, and then we also provided the basic standards, all the required standards for visual identifications, and then how should be the color coding should be done, how the labeling should be done. And once all this basic standard was in place, then we actually did the launching of program. And then also launching is done in various departments in different times, so that we always did, we involved Arvind, and then we did a basic training, and immediately after basic training, that used to be for maximum 30 minutes or 1 hour, and then we doing the actual sorting activity. And then these are just photos in our office area, which was the difficult part among all the plant. And you can see actual results also. The situation before, it was we planned only for 2 hours first sorting activity, but it went for 4 hours and 3 sessions in different times. But now it is global standards for Datwyler is India plant in Office 5S.
So if you see over here, means we found things which were costing over 200,000, 50,000 in drawers and some controllers. So we found, actually we made money out of 5S. And before, if you see our shelves for our books, I had to sign a purchase order for another 15, right? But when we did the 5S, now we are giving away 30. We are giving away 30 of those shelves to a nearby school.
Yes.
So we didn't need, so we were just collecting over a period of time. And I would say that this is just the beginning. It's very difficult. It's not easy. Even for me in my own office, it's very difficult. But we are continuously on a weekly basis, we do this. And at the end of the week, you again have something which you always don't need, but it is always there in your office.
This is a teamwork, sir?
Yeah. And everyone at every level is.
Yes. So we used to actually stop the process. Like if the rollout is in the production, we used to stop the production. But our production floor was much more organized, so it was a bit easy job on production floor. But when we did in quality or engineering team, we stopped. Like the engineering team main task was for the maintenance team. And then we said, okay, 4 hours we do 5S and nothing else. Even if there is a breakdown, other than if there is an emergency, you have to go. But if there is a breakdown, we stop the machine. We will not go there, but focus on 5S implementation.
So I think out of this DPS, the most important thing that we achieved was this form, the idea management form, where if you have an idea to change something, to improve something, anyone from any department, from anywhere, can fill up the idea management form and give it to the department head. At a minimum of every department needs to come up with 5 ideas, and then depending upon so we have the idea of the week, we have the idea of the month, and idea of the quarter. And then we go and we give them small Amazon coupons. But the thing is, this has really helped us improve. This is saving us so much. Some of the ideas have saved us, I would say, till now we could have saved at least 2 million Indian rupees and even more. Even more, small ideas. So this is how, and we display it in the cafeteria and we display it at different boards. If it's in the maintenance, then we do it in the maintenance. So each of the person who comes up with the idea has to fill up this form, put it in. They have to say why it has to be done. What is it? It is for safety? Is it for quality? Is it for cost? Is it for environment? And it doesn't have to be only cost that we are looking at. We also, our first priority is safety. So this is what we do, and I think some of my colleagues over here are there whose faces are also over there. So if you meet them during lunch, you can ask them. So this is one of the biggest gains, is that what we have had in this whole DPS process. And to continue the process, we need to have the deployment. We need to bring in DPS champions. So we decided to make DPS champions. So we chose people from at different levels in our plant. We gave them 2 days training each, and then we are going through the process of train the trainer process now. And so now they are designated DPS champions in different departments who are designated champions and who decide how to do, when to do, and how to train people. And they are from shop floor level, and they are at different levels. They don't have to have a basic education level or you're an engineer. It's from anywhere and everywhere. What also helped us is that visiting other, we spend most of our time in the plants, looking at our plants. We like to send our employees, our colleagues to different plants wherever we are allowed to go, who are ready to accept us. In return, we can also do the same depending upon if they're not from the rubber industry. So we went to Brady, we went to Kaizen Institute, we went to Mahindra's. And these are our global audit scores. Can you explain it? How well we are doing?
When we started in 2017, the initial audit done was the global team, and then we was at 31%. And then regularly, each 6 months, the global team comes on the site and then they review all the process steps and all the tools deployed. And then recent score is 65%, so which is a great achievement from 31% to 65% and 38% to 51%. And based on this score, they decide upon which level we will go further. The feedback from our global head of the DPS is also very encouraging because he saw a good deployment among all the Datwyler sites. And now we are the benchmark for all the sites to follow.
So India is today Datwyler Group's leading site for DPS rollout for basic level. The journey gets tougher. It was new, so it was good, but also we are enjoying that at this moment. So we had our global colleagues from Belgium, Italy, China coming down to our plants to understand how we did it and how we are sustaining it. And also our colleagues, Amit, Abhijit, Mukesh, all my colleagues who are sitting here, they're also supporting global plants. Now they're traveling from India, going to all these plants to help them come up to the level that we have come, and which is for me I'm very proud of it. So this was, we had also for our Korea and China plants, we had the DPS session in India itself to explain to them how we are doing and what they should be doing and where we can support them. So I think now on a monthly basis, we are supporting China side from India. This was during the global quality meeting where the executive team was there and where we explained how the rollout was done in India. And this is where me together with my my colleagues, we wanted to understand after every interval, whenever we had trouble, whenever we had problem or whenever we had roadblocks, to understand what is going wrong, what do you want and how do you want it, and what can we do better, what do you think didn't go well. So we try to analyze it, we try to see what we can, because there is a desired list and that can be done list. So we keep the desired list at the side, but what is factually possible, we try to do that, and we try to overcome, because there is always some differences or the other. So we do this site review meetings. I think we have done 3 of them now, but we'll keep continuing whenever we hit a roadblock. And at the end of the day, we finish with beer, so the roadblock becomes easier to clear for the next day. They become friends again. So we are at the DPS basic. We have completed. Now the next challenge for us is the DPS advanced, which is going to be rolled out in
Coming March. Since March we will.
And hopefully, together with Mr. Arvind and the Kaizen Institute, we will still be leading in our global sites. That's our KPI. So we had a big annual day celebration, and all these people are the number of ideas that were generated in our plant. So we felicitated all of them with cooking equipments, because we wanted them to respect the lady at home who actually is making them come. So we give them everything that needs to be used in the kitchen. Some of them are not happy about it. So this is basically, for us, always we keep in mind is our values and how do we want to reach operational excellence and why do we want to reach it. Because as Mr. Monkar said, that we have to sustain and we have to grow. Every year, the customer is asking for a reduction and I'm asking for a salary increase. So how are we going to do that? The world is becoming more and more difficult. Things are changing, competition is much more. So how do we sustain this business? So to sustain is to become more efficient. So to become more efficient, we have to reach a level of operational excellence where we say that we are benchmark ourselves with the best, and how we can still do the best at a reduced cost and better time, better efficiency. Thank you very much. But before I close, I would like to say that this journey is not possible for us, and this success is not possible for us without the guys sitting at the back. I would like my team to stand up, because if there is an applause, it has to be for them. Because Datwyler production system. Because for me, it's very easy. I just say it has to be done. So, and I walk out and they do it. So as my son says, Dad, you don't do anything at work. You go, sit, play games on your computer, and your colleagues do everything. So there's nothing. So thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, we can hopefully answer them for you. We have our whole team over here, so you will have the right answer from the team. Thank you very much.
So you're basically from a manufacturing industry, right?
Yes.
So you have contract workers as well as you have your own workers, right?
Yes.
So this one thing for safety awareness with contractors, what you do?
Although we have contract labor on on-roll level, we treat them at equal level. So whoever joins, he has to go through the basic training program, and then safety inductions is the part of the basic training program.
Okay.
So it is normally 3 days, which is after joining, he remains with HR. They cover he or she, yes. Then we cover the safety, basic HR things, and also CGMP training, which are the minimum basic trainings he complete in 3 days. And once that is completed, he go on the production floor, where we are having a detailed basic on-floor training program, which depend on the process. It may be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And that covers the safety for each workstation.
Contracts absenteeism is there in your company?
There is, but it is India is again benchmark in all the sites in Datwyler. So we have very less absenteeism rate.
We came up with a system where nobody applies for leave. They have a visual management system on the board.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the week or month, they decide, right from managers to shop floor people, when they want, and they decide when they want. So if somebody is going, then they have to back up somebody else. So we have decentralized the leave process.
But what will happen to the contract side? Contract part is there, no?
See, we have contract in our organization, because to keep, if there is a requirement is not more of production, then we can reduce faster and all that. Otherwise, the treatment wise, there is no difference to a contractor. There is no difference. And after 2 years, and after the skill matrix training, and if we see if it is okay, they are always on board with us. So we are at about 60% on-roll and 40% contract.
Because we are also facing that problem. Contract absenteeism is there. Even though we give training to them, one will come and the other will go.
Also, it's not only about training. I think it's also about how we treat them, how the atmosphere is, how we empathize with them. I think that also, the surrounding makes a lot of difference. Means I think it's more about how we treat people is how much they would like to stay with the organization. One is that they would stay because of more money, but they don't like the job. Or it is a trade-off between two things, that I enjoy working in this company because I like the atmosphere, I get respect. So I think in our organization, we give more, we try to give more empathy towards the people. We try to understand how we can, because we all come from backgrounds where we have had bosses who have been Ivan the Terrible or something, and you always wonder like what's going on. So we try to change that atmosphere within our organization. And luckily for me, I'm the oldest guy in the plant. The rest, everyone is 15 years younger. That's how we wanted it. So that, and even at our shop floor level, the people that we have, I would say 70% of them are 10th pass, 10th or 11th. So we try to give opportunity to people, because what are you going to do in a repetitive job? You have to remove the sheet, you have to move things.
Yes.
If you give hope, or if you give some kind of standing to a person who is already suffering, you bring him into an organization, build them, and we have all young people. So they appreciate that. They appreciate that.
Okay. It's nice, sir. Thank you.
I must say that I'm personally very inspired by your presentation. I mean, it has been a phenomenal experience for me to see from what you have been and what it is at the moment. So just for my curiosity, what was it that, lack of a better word, jerked you and said, now let's do this? Number one. And number two, over what time span are we looking for this from the idea to implementation stage? And the final question is, what challenges did you did say that you personally were initially not convinced and then you finally got sold on to the idea. So what challenges were there and how did you and your team overcome them?
Okay, I'll try to remember. I'm also dyslexic, so I forget very fast. So number one, you said that what made us do it. It was not us. It was the group which decided, the board members, and they decided that we are growing so fast. So we need to do something so that we are able to control, sustain, and grow. So it was decided, the decision was taken by the top management saying we need to install a production system. Because all the different plants were doing different things. Someone was doing Six Sigma, someone was doing 5S, someone was doing Lean. Everyone was doing different. And our Italian plant is a world manufacturing certificate and everything. So we were not harmonized. So we needed to come up with we decided that we go with a production system. But it took us, the thought process came in 2013. It took till 2015 to decide how we wanted to bring all the site directors globally on board. And from 2015 to 2017, the team, the DPS global team, actually put in so much effort and made this whole document so easy that the main credit goes to them because they understood how difficult it will be to deploy if we don't have a document or instructions which has to be understood at Switzerland, where is the highest form of learning and education and everything, and then come to India and China. So it was made easy to understand for everyone. We wanted it, what we call it is idiot proof. The main challenge that I had, because we are based in Shirwal, we travel 3.5 hours a day between most of the time. So when we talk about waste, that is one waste we can't control in our lives. But we travel 3.5, 4 hours a day. Then we have the addition of ongoing projects. We are continuously expanding. And then I had this big thing that we have to deploy a DPS. So I said, I have too much to do. I'm too important and I have too much to do. That was but I think once we started meeting, once we started looking at the different companies and when I looked into the problems that I'm having on a day-to-day basis of firefighting and everything, I understood from Mr. Kulkarni and Amit and my team members that this is the way to go for us. So that was...
The challenges that
it means if you have to sustain and grow, we need system. Only how do we do it outside our plant is something we have to see.
Yeah, friends, we are short of time. The lunch break is already started. So he is here for lunch. The whole Datwyler team is here. So whatever questions you have, you can interact with them, understand them. So thank you, Mr. Rahul and Mr. Amit, for a nice presentation. I request Mr. Ulrich to come forward and hand over a token of appreciation from Kaizen Institute.
Come on, fast. Your production system, come on. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ulrich. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.